Morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Daily financial news, May 19th. May 19th? Yeah, Tuesday, May 19th. I almost said Monday. Man, all these days are blended together, huh? So, didn't yesterday feel good if you were watching the stock market? I think it was up like 910 or 911 points. Hopefully that felt good, right? It was built on the backs of some very positive news around a vaccine. Company Moderna put out some great news, and I hope it felt good. Right? I haven't changed my opinion one iota. My opinion doesn't matter. My opinion has been wrong for quite a while, as many of my followers of these daily shows like to say. But I don't think I think the disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street has never been larger. I think there are interesting forces in the works. One of them that I think is just starting to be talked about is I think we have a wave of new investors coming into the market. Think younger than 30. They have not experienced a crash before. They've read about it. They have some dry powder, which is good for them. Savings is always important. But they are looking at this sudden event as the buying opportunity of a lifetime. And again, as I've said in past videos, if they're willing to hold for 10 years, absolutely, absolutely. But my history, again, as an individual investor when I was younger, I didn't have staying power. I personally became emotional and thought I was Warren Buffett or an idiot, a clown along the way. So I don't play, and that's just me. I know after years of making significant on stocks and then losing it all and then some, that I don't have the mentality. So again, what I would tell you if you were a younger investor and you're in and you've bought in some of these beat up stocks, cruise lines, airlines, hotels, congratulations. Taking action is important, but make sure your time horizon is set. So that's what I think. So again, 90% up day. I think we've had 3 of those in the last couple of months, but a 90% up day is awesome. But I got to tell you, I started feeling iffy after hours. So the 90% up day was, near as I can tell, majority done by Moderna and the vaccine trial, right? 8 for 8, kind of efficacy building antibodies, which is good. It's still small. It's still the beginning. It's still lots of time. But then what does Moderna do? They come out with a press release after hours and say we are going to basically sell $1.3 billion of stock into the secondary market. So call me suspicious, call me paranoid, call me whatever you want to call me. That company knew the press release they were issuing in the morning, and they knew what they were issuing after hours. There's no question they knew. Do you think one led to the other? It wasn't even a day later. It wasn't even a week later. They did it the same freaking day. That takes balls. Hey, here's some good news that the market and stock investors are hoping for. We're all hoping for a vaccine. We want a vaccine ASAP. So they put out some trial, 8 for 8. And again, we have to take their word for it because I don't think other scientists have peer reviewed it. And then they come to the market saying, hey, we're going to get $1.3 billion. This kind of feels like Bill Ackman. I talked about Bill Ackman 6 or 8 weeks ago where he was coming on, I think it was CNBC, talking about Hilton going to zero and his father is this and that and he's been sheltered in place and fear, fear, fear. A week later, we found out the guy made $2 billion. I don't like people talking their book. I think there's so much a setup. And I hope Bill Ackman never gets on CNBC or Bloomberg. I hope he's I don't know what you would call it, stricken from the list of experts. To see him capitalize on spreading fear. He went into the market, think movie theater, screamed fire, and then he made money on everybody exiting. Not cool. But that's near as I can tell, nobody's gone after him yet. I would think there would be some kind of SEC thing going in, but whatever. I digress. So again, today, starting the parade of retail earnings, Walmart, as we talked about yesterday, coming out, or might have talked about Sunday. E-commerce up 74%. And in my days as a sales professional, I've been out to see Walmart's impressive operation. Gosh, I think the first time I saw them was 20 years ago. And they had an impressive web presence then. So they've been committed to e-commerce forever. And to say that they're up 74% is impressive. Even more impressive, same store sales were up 10%. Which again, Walmart size, that is hard to do. But they also pulled guidance. Again, I think we're being set up for something, right? I've talked about the kitchen sink quarter before. Now 40% of the S&P has pulled guidance. Even retailers who are benefiting are pulling guidance. That's interesting. They've also hired 200,000 employees, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I don't believe that's a net number. I'm sure they have lost employees. Again, I think these are one of those numbers that they're trying to spread good news. So they hired 200,000 people. Home Depot came out, blew away the top line, missed the bottom line. And folks, we got to pay attention to how they missed it. They blamed increased cost because of the health scare, both in additional payments to employees, but also cleaning costs. The retail landscape, the restaurant landscape, it's going to cost more to operate. And in the short term, that means less profit. If this continues for quarters, it means increased prices. Cleaning costs will eventually has to be passed to the consumer if it is a sticky long-term cost. So just another reason that inflation could be the price we all pay for this. SoftBank clearly looks to be raising capital after losing $18 billion we talked about yesterday. They are selling their stake in T-Mobile, which makes up 25%. Some to Deutsche Telekom, but the others on the open market, and they will be unwinding that over the next several weeks. On the negative side, so Home Depot and Walmart beat. We have Kohl's retailer. Net sales dropped 43.5%. Which again, to me, feels weird, right? Because it's just weird, right? We were shut down, 3 weeks in March? In 3 weeks has a negative impact of 43.5%? Something's weird. Or they're going to have an even worse Q2 because we've been down, 6-8 weeks in Q2? Crazy. On a positive news, some very, very good news. Southwest Airlines has reported for the first time in quite a while where net new bookings exceed cancellations. I read that. I actually put a smile on my face. That is real good news, right? It is turning a corner. It's bouncing off the bottom. We're nowhere near Southwest Airlines being profitable. But at least we've started the journey back, right? Where new bookings are exceeding cancellations. So I just think that is really positive news. Probably the most positive news I've seen in quite a while, frankly. Pier 1, if you don't know who Pier 1 is, they're kind of a local, or they're a retailer. I don't actually know how many stores they have, but they're already in bankruptcy. They're now just going to wind down operations. They were trying to find a buyer. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. So they're looking to get permission from bankruptcy court to just liquidate and be done. That is interesting. The other thing that is I found interesting today is cash in money markets is at record levels, back to 2008. Cash on the sidelines was one of the reasons that kind of got the last bull market going. So again, right, that cash on the sidelines of that size could really be a sign of a more fuel for the bull market that we're in. Maybe make the stock market continue its V-shaped recovery. So all this cash on the sidelines could absolutely be good news for the bulls, for all the folks reminding me I'm wrong daily. But also, it could be a sign that there's another shoe to drop. But we will know. We'll know in a couple of weeks, or probably 4 or 5 weeks. But I do think it could be a very good sign that there's so much cash on the sidelines. That could absolutely be a good sign. We got some April data from new housing construction. Again, I think this is both one of those it's so bad, it's good news stories. US starts fell sharply in April, down 30.2%, lowest construction since 2015. All four regions were down. Multifamily construction fell 40.5%. The good news about this again is April data. April, knock on wood, should prove to be the bottom of stress. We've had many states already open up and many more planned to open up. Also, more and more states are calling construction essential. That was not the case in April. Many states had not done that. So again, I think this is one of those numbers where we now have the bottom in place and we can start healing ourselves. So again, like Southwest, I think this U.S. housing starts number found the bottom and we can start turning around. I think that is great news. I think there is no question we will be in a recession as it's reported. The question is, will we see Q3 and Q4 negative also? Q1, just to remind you, was negative 4.8%. The quarter we are actively in and now more than halfway through, there are estimates ranging from negative 30 to negative 45. The question is, what do we see in Q3? Does enough of the states open up that we can inch out of this and go positive? Can we avoid a second wave? Can we continue the vaccine good news? It is going to be a slow, kind of rocky road out of this. But again, you got to get to the bottom to get out. And we're getting to the bottom, so that is pretty cool. Again, a recession is technically called after 2 negative quarters, and a depression is called by consecutive quarters, usually called years. The Great Depression was 10 to 12 years, depending on how you count it. Will we see multiple years of negative growth and thus this be the second depression? I hope not. Clearly hope not. It would be that would be very painful to watch. Forbearance requests are falling, meaning slowing down. Again, good news. I am a little nervous that this tweak to the forbearance plan, where they take the basically missed payments and call it a second, gets marketed as a free, a free loan, a pause button, whatever you want to call it. This has been around since I think last Thursday, and I haven't seen the financial networks pick it up and kind of push it. So that's good news. Maybe it won't. But again, the thing that's really scary is the FHA buyer. The FHA buyer is 11%. 11% of FHA loans are already in forbearance, and FHA, generally speaking, are for first-time buyers. So there's a lot of stress there. Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin are talking today about the CARES Act, where the money's going, essentially. I think there's going to be a lot of talk about a quote that Powell put out. I forget if it was over the weekend or last week, but it basically goes like this. Liquidity problems can become solvency problems. That is what we have to watch out for. So in my speak, liquidity problems are basically something the Fed can fix, right? And they've come out guns a-blazing to fix liquidity problems, being the buyer of last resort. But they can't solve solvency problems. So that basically means if you're running a restaurant and losing money every day, if you're running a retailer and losing money every day, they can't help you. If customers don't come back, they can't help you. If cost of doing your job exceeds the revenue, they can't help you. Right? Because again, back to this whole balance sheet recession, it just feels very, very probable. So very, very interesting. It will be interesting to see what Congress does next. I think there will be another aid package. There is no question, stimulus package. The question is, what is in it? We have seen what the House wants. I don't know that we've really seen what the Senate wants. I know the Senate wants to, have liability protections for business. They want payroll, holiday. Um, there seems to be some lines people don't want to cross, like aid to the states, things of that nature. I don't see a next aid package really being a discussion point until June at the earliest. Um, but it will be interesting to watch as we go forward. So that's what we got. That's what we got for the news of the day. Again, we do this daily financial news each and every day, and I want to thank you for that. Oh, there's a question here about how the folks at the hub are doing from a business perspective. I've actually asked the folks from the hub not to come in, so I've canceled their rent payments for, what would it be, April and May. I would tell you the flippers, they have all their inventory sold. The real estate agents have slowed down. Realtors have slowed down. Wholesalers started slow, but are actually doing quite well in this environment. So I would tell you business, real estate is moving. And that is in Fresno, and real estate's moving in most markets. So the folks at the hub are doing quite well, although I've asked them not to come in to kind of relate to the ordinance in Fresno. The good news is the hub, the way it is configured, has offices, so it's very easy to keep people 6 feet apart. So that's cool. But hopefully they will be back. My hope is they're back June 1st. But again, this is all based on local ordinances. They can do their jobs from home. We talk weekly. So I'm in no rush to get them back. If the city wants to go longer, so be it. So that's what we got for the day. Have fun, everybody. Take care of yourself. On a personal note, we are signing 2 properties this afternoon. We're going to do it outside wearing masks and gloves. All right. Take care. Bye.